All right, today we're diving into a really powerful mental technique from psychologist Dr. Michael J. Greenberg. It tackles one of the most frustrating problems out there. What do you do when your brain gets stuck on something and you just can't seem to shake it?
You know that feeling, right? When your brain just gets stuck? It could be an annoying sound, some weird physical sensation, or just a thought looping over and over. It feels like your mind is glued to it, and the harder you try to push it away, the bigger it seems to get. Well, today we're going to learn exactly how to break that cycle. So here's what we're going to cover. First, we'll define what we call the attention trap. Then we'll get into the crucial difference between awareness and attention. After that, we'll actually walk through a practical exercise. Then we'll talk about how to build this into a new habit, and we'll wrap up by answering some of the most common questions. Okay, let's kick things off by really digging into this problem. What exactly is this feeling of being stuck? And why on earth does it happen? First off, if you felt this, you are definitely not alone. Dr. Greenberg makes it clear this is a well-known issue. It's especially tough for people with conditions like sensorimotor OCD, where their mind gets fixated on things like breathing or blinking. But really, that core feeling of being mentally hijacked is something almost all of us have experienced. And this is where we get to the absolute core of this whole thing. The key, the real game changer to solving this problem is understanding the difference between two words we use all the time but often get mixed up: awareness and attention. So let's talk about awareness. Imagine it's like your mind's radar. Stuff just appears on the screen, right? A noise, a feeling, a random thought, it just pops up and kind of hovers there. The key thing is it's passive. It just happens to you. You didn't do anything to put it there. Now, attention, that's a whole different beast. It's not passive at all. It's an active process. Attention is when you decide to mentally reach out and grab onto one of those things on your radar. It's like mentally holding it. It's a choice you make. It's something you do. Okay, let's really nail this down. Awareness on one side, attention on the other. Awareness is passive. It's the thing that just shows up. It happens to you. But attention, that's you doing something. It's the active choice to mentally hold on to it. And that distinction right there is everything. The problem isn't that the thought is in your awareness. The problem is that we keep choosing to pay attention to it. Okay, enough theory. How do we actually use this? Let's try a little exercise right now to really feel the difference for ourselves. And this quote from Dr. Greenberg just nails it. Think about it. If you're holding onto a rock really tightly, you don't need to find a feather to pick up so you can drop the rock. No, you just open your hand. You just let go. That's it. That's the entire move we're trying to make here. Okay, you ready? Let's walk through this together. First, go ahead and think about that thing, that thought or sensation. Really pay attention to it. Feel yourself mentally holding it. Now, here's the move. Just stop. Stop directing your attention at it. Gently let go of your mental grip. Notice it doesn't just vanish. It's still there, kind of hovering in your awareness. And that's fine. Just let it be. Let your mind just wander wherever it wants to go. And hey, if it snaps back to the thought, totally normal, no big deal. You just gently let go again. And this part is so important. You have to be gentle. This is not a wrestling match. You're not trying to throw the thought out of your mind, because we all know how that goes. Trying not to think of something is the best way to think about it. This isn't a push, it's a release. Big difference. All right, so doing that once is one thing, but the real magic happens when you turn this from a one-off trick into a new mental habit. Look, this is going to take some practice, right? It's a skill, not a switch you flip. That thought is going to pop back up, but here's how you gotta think about it. Every single time it comes back, that's not a failure. It's a rep. It's another chance to practice letting go. And every time you do it, you're building a little more confidence that you can handle it. And when you practice, something really cool starts to happen. It's this amazing feedback loop. First, because you know you have a tool to deal with it, you get less scared of the thought itself. And because you're not so scared of it anymore, you just naturally start paying less attention to it when it does pop up. It's not as interesting or threatening. And what happens when you stop paying attention to something? Well, it starts showing up less. It just fades into the background because you're not constantly shining a spotlight on it. That's a cycle. You just keep doing that, keep practicing, and that's how you slowly but surely break the hold it has on you. Until one day, the problem just isn't really a problem anymore. All right, I'm sure a couple of questions are probably popping into your head right about now, so let's get to them. So, the first big question people always ask is, wait, isn't this just distracting yourself with something else? And that's a great question, because there's a really important difference.
It all comes down to why you're doing it. Look, it's totally fine if your attention wanders off to something else. That's great, but you can't use that other thing as a weapon to try and force the unwanted thought out. The second you try to force it, you're back to fighting with it. The goal is just to let go and then let your attention land wherever it lands naturally. Okay, here's the classic scenario, right? You're lying in bed, it's dark, it's quiet, and that one thought or sensation feels like it's taking up the entire room. There's nothing else to pay attention to. What do you do then? And the answer here is just a brilliant metaphor. Imagine you're holding a teddy bear. Could you just let go of it, even if there was nothing else in the bed to grab? Of course you could. You don't need to replace it with something else. The act of letting go is its own thing. You can just gently let go of the bear. And all of this really points to a much bigger idea. It leaves us with this one last powerful question to think about. What if this was never about controlling our thoughts in the first place? What if the real goal is just to change our relationship with them? To get to a place where we can just let them come and let them go without being afraid and without feeling like we have to grab onto them and hold on for dear life?